Hi, everyone. Welcome to Double D-Fense. Thank you
Hello.
for listening. I am your host, Liz, along with Christine and Sarah.
Hello.
We are excited to chat
Happy
as we approach the
Friday.
holidays. Happy Friday, happy almost Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy all celebrations to those who are celebrating
Hanukkah.
in the month of December.
Yep, celebrations have begun already.
Yeah, unless you are the San Jose Sharks. Everybody else is celebrating.
Hey, do you know they're not in last place anymore?
And they just beat the Islanders.
FYI. Oh, and then that game last night was insane. So they beat the Red Wings, right? So
maybe this is where they turn around the season. Out of the toilet bowl.
Yeah, what were those odds before?
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if the Sharks, by some miracle, I don't even know if mathematically they could even do it at this point. I mean, I know we're not that far in the season, but they literally have to win every.
We all start losing, like multiple games in a row. Knock on wood, that's not going to happen.
And the Rangers, pretty much statistically, they have 37 points, and it's an 82 game season. So we're getting to an area where technically the Rangers would not have to win another game for them to possibly make the playoffs. So they could theoretically not win. They just couldn't lose, but they could lose or lose in overtime and continuously and still make the playoffs. That's how well the Rangers have been playing. I mean, other than this game against the Senators, which just happened on Tuesday, and we will talk about that because Christine and I have differing opinions. And also we have to talk about how Miller is taking his own players out, because that was a series
your man's all over the place, so
he's either so good or he is just wreaking havoc on his own team. There's no in between for him.
He almost took out Shesterkin when he played in Calgary. It was crazy.
So in the game, okay, let's get into it. So in the game against the Ottawa Senators, which the Rangers lost 6-2, Shesterkin did not have his best.
Yeah. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, he did. Shesterkin wasn't playing. I felt like no one was playing well. It just felt very disjointed. And Ottawa is clearly not, a great team. They're in last place right now in the Atlantic Division. Last place, playing the first place New York Rangers. And it just felt like the Rangers couldn't get anything going. They felt really disjointed. And then at one point, was it Goodrow? I think it was Goodrow. Miller goes to take a shot and hits him right in the face. And he goes immediately off to the locker room. And then they found out later his tooth was on the ice. Someone took a photo of it. He left his face.
I don't even know what part of his face was.
Yeah, to be honest, I couldn't. I'm bad with teeth stuff. And so hockey is really not a sport I should be watching regularly at all. But it definitely was his tooth. I don't know if it was part of his lip or what. Yeah. But Miller,
he's gonna look good when we see him. I don't know.
But I will say, Miller's actually connected on a couple of those slap shots from afar. So obviously, he's shooting the puck really fast, but just don't do it into your teammate's face. I think that should be.
Or maybe Goodrow needs to not be in line of fire, So, hey, I'm trying to watch some of these other games too to kind of see calls and plays and stuff because since we've actually this season so far, and since we last recorded, we're still seeing crazy ref calls and things that we just like I have never seen before, And so, in fact, I keep trying to keep track of them, and I'm still bugged by the fact that on November 12th, during between the November 12th game, they played Dallas after that, and then they played New Jersey, and we had two weird calls, but there was some weird call during the Dallas game that changed just the momentum of things. So, and I don't know what that was. No one can remember, and it's kind of bugging me. So
the Rangers have had just a series of weird.
Seeing this across the board, for things.
Yeah, they've had a series of just weird events and calls and non-calls and goals getting turned back, rules being overturned. 5-minute majors will be called. Against the other team playing the Rangers, and then the rest will review it and then change their mind and reduce it to nothing. So
So
it's been a weird season ref
I mean, we
wise.
did have things go our way, so we had that high stick. So I think one of the notable ones, and then I'll turn over to Sarah because I think she had the most exciting call, which was everybody getting, majors.
Oh, the one where
handed to them.
everyone on the
I was
ice, yeah.
watching it, yeah.
That was
But at the
Ottawa
same
too.
time,
Yeah.
yeah. So we did have the one overturn, which, where there was the high stick call, and then and then they're like, it's going to be a 4-minute, and then the minute they called the 4-minute, they redid the replay at Madison Square Garden, which you cannot deny that it wasn't a high stick. So that's something the refs had to see, had to review, and then overturn the whole penalty call, which I don't think I've seen before too. So
Wow.
But yours was more exciting.
Well, sorry, just to chime in on this New York Ottawa game, I had a message here I want to read to you from my friend Tyler in Toronto, who is the biggest Sens fan that I know. I think there must be only one. Nobody really likes Ottawa.
Well, Tyler, thank you for listening.
Yes.
It's great to meet the one Senators fan.
The one Senators fan. How did your ladies like the beating from the Sens last night? And I said, I'm not sure, but I'll certainly pass on your remarks. He's like, oh, buddy, the Sens beat them like a rented mule. So that's his whole, proud.
Okay, well, we can tell him that the Rangers, like many other teams, will play down to the quality hockey that they're playing against. So sometimes that just trips them up to not play against a top tier team.
I love it because
last year too.
It is the Senators. I mean, they've been known for that, I think, their entire existence as being that team. And Liz, I don't think you could have said it any better. I think that's excellent. My hate for Daniel Alfredsson spans many years, and I think he's come back to he's in management or something over there.
But they played well, So you got it. When I'm watching the game too, look, you got a team that's been losing, that they're fighting to not lose, and then you have a team. So were we overconfident? And it's funny because when they played Boston, they came out with this thing like, we're not playing against a team, we're going out there to play a game. And I'm like, okay, that's the effort I'm seeing. And then that all went out the window because we didn't really see that in the games following that. I'm like, what happened? And then I was talking to a friend of mine where even he thinks, even during Boston, it didn't seem like we were playing our best, So although they, it was very matched. So again, I like that, if that's truly the focus is to come out and play the game, regardless of who you're playing, then we should see that same level. And I kind of was until they said that. And then I haven't really seen it.
Well, the good thing with the Rangers, and this will be a real testament to the next game, which is coming up on Saturday against the Capitals, which is Peter Laviolette's old team. So this will be quite interesting to this will be interesting to see. But up until now, the Rangers have not lost 2 games in a row. They have been able to, when they lose a game, turn it around, play really, really well the next game. So hopefully, they're doing like that Ted Lasso, like be a goldfish thing where you don't remember, block it out of your memory, do better next time. And so far this year, they've been so good at doing that. So I think Saturday's game will be super interesting to see. I think it was Steve Valiquette that was saying during the intermission that it's like they started out playing the system. They started out playing very structured hockey, and then you could tell emotions were taking over. And I think this happens to a lot of these guys. They get super heated, then they start making decisions in the midst of the moment instead of playing the game that they're supposed to be playing. And all of a sudden it's just a messy free-for-all.
We're also getting a lot of injuries too. So that's upsetting the dynamic of things right now. I think every player on the team has a point, in points, except for Shesterkin. So we did see that, a goalie did score a goal in the last week. So it's getting closer to his time. But, so we have that strength within our team, but, we still don't have Hedel back. Kako's out now. I think I just saw a story where
did we miss him at all?
Yes, we do. So don't underestimate the power of a player, whether he's scoring what people want him to do or not. He's still part of the team and making plays happen on the ice, which could be why we're winning. If you might be missing opportunities to see where he might be shining just because you're waiting for him to score. So So we are missing him because look what's happening, you know. So I think they said he will be back this season. So I don't know what that means. And then, and now we have Kreider, you know, and Goodrow now, you know, kind of iffy, you know. So we gotta stay healthy, you know.
Yeah, and I don't know. Shesterkin was definitely not on his. I feel like Shesterkin has not been playing like his amazing usual self this year. I don't know if it's injury. I don't know if it's something else. I think that he will continue to get better. I mean, we are not that far in the season. Truthfully, we're not even halfway.
So is he truly back from being injured? You know, so and what happened? So you know, we're not seeing that confidence that we kind of want to see in him. So it'll be a curious thing to see what happens this weekend. Will Quick be in the game against the Kings?
That's
the better game. Quick has the better record right now. Is he strong enough to play? We're going to know tomorrow. We're going to know tomorrow morning with whoever comes off the ice first is who's going to play. And so whoever plays tomorrow, it's going to be the other one playing Sunday. So,
it would be amazing to see Quick in goal against the Kings. That would be.
I almost think that's what's going to happen right now.
So too. Especially because the Rangers had off like a pretty significant amount of time. So they played Tuesday. They're not playing again until Saturday, which, as we're recording this on Friday, is tomorrow. So Shesterkin would have had time to sort of rest and recover, and then they could pop Quick in on Sunday. Except that's what they're expecting them to do. So who knows if Levin.
Yeah, we were talking. Matt and I were talking about that, and to see like, you know, would the Kings know how to shoot on him? It's been a while. There's new players. I'm just curious to see what's going to happen. I mean, we should beat the Capitals. Again, the Kings now have just broken an NHL record with road trip wins. So they play the Islanders next. So are the Islanders going to be able to stop them? If not, we need to stop them with their record.
But the Kings aren't playing great at home. So I feel like
they don't play great at home. So get ready in January, you know, that's where we take them on. So, but we'll see. But they are amazing on the road, and right now they're up in the top as well, you know. So we're good. And the other thing too is like what I was most upset about, you know, aside from the drama of the loss, we were talking about it. The words horrific and abysmal, just the dramatic words. I'm like, it was a loss. We're going to move on. We still have the most wins in the NHL. Vegas right now is ahead of us by 2 points, but they're 3 games ahead of us, you know? Yeah. So that was where what upset me more was that we had an opportunity to do a breakout game, you know, and win and break away from Boston and Vegas, and we lost that opportunity. So that's kind of the way I see that loss more so, is like we had a chance to break away and we blew it. And I wonder if they think that. I'm like, if they're going out there thinking we can break away and stay on top, maybe they would have played a different way.
Yeah. That's really interesting. But it's so psychological. And I mean, they clearly just got beat and quite badly, but you know, hopefully the weekend brings some really good games. And Sarah, you were at a game, you were at a Calgary game this week.
Yeah. A couple things I wanted to mention there. I was at the Calgary game. They played terrible. That was Tuesday. We saw, who was it? The Wild, which I was hoping Fleury would play, but he did not. But Calgary didn't start Markstrom either, so I guess he's out with a finger injury, which I can't stop laughing every time I say that.
Which finger? The pinky?
Yeah, exactly. So both teams started their backups, and then actually Calgary pulled, after it was 3-0. Calgary pulled their starter and put in the third string. So it was a terrible game. They were awful, but there were some interesting ref calls too. And I think the first goal that Minnesota scored, they scored and like everything kind of kept going, and then all of a sudden they paused, and like all of a sudden it was a cheer let out that they had scored. It was like this weird dynamic. Like it's almost like nobody knew they scored.
Like no one noticed.
Very strange. Yeah, it was very strange. And then play kept continuing. So I was like, what happened? And the guy beside me is like, oh, you know, they recalled it in Toronto. They looked at the video. And I was like, I get all that, but like the fact that
what happened
to happen, that's where I was like, what?
Anyway, that was the game you were at.
That was Tuesday, I was like watching
because they don't show you the replays for those things.
Yeah, because they know you'll get mad.
That's the problem. That's a problem. You needed to text us. I would have looked at it because that's what happened with Matt. Like during an overtime where they had this 20-minute review of stuff, and they weren't seeing it, and I was texting it because we could see everything.
And this thing was so fast. Like, it was all in the span of under 5 minutes, because all of a sudden I was just like, what? And because everything just kind of kept going. It's very strange. I've never seen anything like that. And they honored a player that night, some former, I think, goalie for Calgary. He was very old. Didn't resonate with me, his name, sorry. Lovely person. He was commenting at intermission about Fleury and how he went to see Fleury before the game, and they had a moment. I think they must have had an interview on the network. And in that moment, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, are we starting to look at Fleury's like last time in this building? Is that a possibility? So I looked his contract up. He's got another year, but it really just made me wonder. You know, even watching him just sit on the bench and look around, I was like, is this the last time?
How old is he?
He's 39.
Yeah, it's like out to pasture for hockey
yeah,
players.
and I mean, and they
turn him into glue.
I feel like they've treated him like, even Vegas, I felt like treated him like that. Even Pittsburgh before he left Pittsburgh. But you know, he's hung on, but like he's coming to the end here. I do want to
a little note on Fleury. Comment on his helmet too, because I know we might have missed that within our talking. So can put that in there.
Yeah. Too. Love him, like love that he stood up for his wife and her culture and her what's the word I'm looking for? The diversity.
Her heritage.
Heritage and the diversity within the fan base and within the game itself. So absolutely kudos to you, Fleury. And I don't think he was actually fined. They threatened it, but I don't think it happened.
Nope. So
thanks,
bite me to Batman.
Love him. I do want to comment.
And then the people that argue with me on Facebook too. So
F them.
Well, they didn't win anything.
Sorry.
So continue.
I did want to comment on the Florida Ottawa game probably about a week ago now. Feels like it's an eternity, but honestly, one of the best games I've seen in years, like decades, I want to say. It's been a long time since I've seen a game that good, where everybody like cleared out with less than 7 minutes to go. It was amazing.
And everyone who was
were amused by that. That was great.
So good.
Great.
Such good hockey.
So everyone who was on the ice wound up getting a 10-minute penalty, which I guess they couldn't really enforce because it was the end of the game, but
they totally got Oprah'd. You know, that's what you can say. Like,
absolutely. The Kachuk brothers. I mean, there were many brawls at that point, but like I think the one that really started off was Brady and Matthew Kachuk going at it, and even better. The camera kept pivoting to his grandmother who was there, and she was just appalled. Oh my god, it was so funny. She should get like some sort of like nomination for like just sitting there. Her face and reactions during every one was hilarious. But yeah, they couldn't name all the players that had to go. They just said everybody who was on the ice, and off they went.
And the Panthers are doing well. They are just behind Boston in second place in the Atlantic.
And speaking of the Panthers, let's talk about the hottest member of that association. And it's Roberto Luongo,
who had a major glow up. This has been the topic of conversation on the Double D-Fense internal text messages of this week. So we should post his before and after. Because I gotta say, I think you were saying it, Sarah. He looks like suave mafia man now.
Yeah,
like,
mafia
Miami,
guy.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh my
God,
hair
slicked back.
You're beautiful. Like, how do we get you on here? Like, yum. I hope, Roberto, you're capturing on some like OnlyFans stuff. I'm sure there's some hockey moms and female fan base that would just eat that up.
Which is such a difference. I can't get over his original, or I don't even know what year that first picture was from, but he just looks like deer in headlights, like totally kind of like nerdy, a little bit shocked to even like be having his picture taken, to now just the suaveness, and obviously also, you know, what he was talking about, what he was standing for, which was kind of cool.
Well, look, how many kind of like suave kind of coaches and people are there, you know, like you got to keep up with the players. You know, 10 years ago, these players weren't as suave as they were. You could spot them with their generic suits a mile away at games. And now they're like, they're fancy, you know, and
because there's so much more content now.
Each other, and a lot of it's
from a sports perspective, there's so much more content now that exists outside the sport itself. So they're trying to, the NHL and all the affiliates are trying to make sure you get to know these guys. So now whenever they go out, they have to make sure that they are like dressed, or that when they turn up and they're like clearly styled by someone. Yeah. Even Panarin's looking a little bit better. A little bit better this year. He used to turn up in like unmatching sweatpants. What are you doing, man? That is something Condre's good at. Like, I give him that. Like, he can dress.
Maybe he styles the team, Liz. Maybe that's his.
He should.
Maybe that's why they keep him around, because it can't be for hockey. It can't be for hockey reasons.
Hey, again, where Miller is good, if wherever he fouls up on something, he makes up for it. So there's a score, there's a drawn penalty or something. So he always seems to rectify what he does wrong. So as long as what he does wrong doesn't cost us anything, then he's an asset.
But it is. Did you see the other night? I can't remember which game it was, if it was the one against the Sharks or a different game, but Miller scored and did not crack a smile. He kept like blue steel face, to the point that people were commenting about why he looked so like miserable on social media. There were a ton of comments about it, but it was like smoldering. Like, he just would not smile. It was like his smoldering.
I like the blue steel reference. That's excellent.
It was super intense. I'm sure there's like memes about it, or we should make one.
Exactly. Blue steel of the week. I'm sure there's one of, we can find a player of the week.
I bet he went home and practiced it. Like, other guys like have like, they do their dance or whatever. I think he went home and like, just like he smized in the mirror. Like,
can you imagine?
Maybe Zoolander is like his like role model. I don't know.
Well, he was a child model before hockey, so maybe that's where that came from.
You don't often see that.
And he is our top player model too, with all the new fashion and stuff.
Oh, and let me ask about that. What do we think of the new? So the Rangers released their third jersey. I think Miller was the one like featured in all the ads. I think it's fine. It's a little boring. It's like the New York Rangers shield on like a slightly darker, like a darker blue. At least it's not the Liberty jersey, because every time they wear that, I feel like they lose. So at least there's kind of something new. It's so, and I'll be honest. So my friend Andrew texted me when the new jersey was released, and he's like, "What do you think about it?" And at that point, like, the Rangers hadn't lost. They were on like their 7-game winning streak or whatever. I'm like, I don't care what this jersey has on it. It could have a pizza rat on it, and I would still support it because of how well they're playing right now. So it's all superstition. And I think that's something you wanted to talk about, Christine, is sort of like some different superstitions, but that Liberty jersey goes into my superstition of, I can't wear it certain games because I feel like it troubles me to like wear it to a game. Although I think I wore it that time that they played the Kings last year when they came from behind and wound up winning. So I think I had it on that night.
I'm going to throw that out maybe this next week to our followers, just to see what odd superstitious, things that people do in watching the games. Right now I have my Panarin jersey because he's been amazing, sitting on the chair like a shrine right now.
Don't touch it at all. Don't mess it up. Whatever you're doing is good.
And typically my only superstition is whatever I'm wearing, I honestly just don't wash it. I might not wear it again, but I don't wash it till they lose. And then we got to cleanse the energy, right? So I'll do that. Some people don't wash their stuff for the whole season. So whatever. And then it's funny because then you'll see people on the boards like, I wasn't watching, and then I came in and watched it, and then we started losing. So it's my fault. And I'm like, of course, yeah, it is your fault, So so it's a curious thing. There's typical superstitious kind of things that people might have with wearing a certain shirt or the same shirt or whatever, or not washing stuff. But I'm going to go out there and see if I can find someone that has like really odd ones, hopefully not gross, but
I bet I would bet 70% of them are absolutely disgusting.
So you can tell, for example, I think Panarin didn't shave while he was on his point streak, because then all of a sudden when it stopped, he was like clean shaven again. So you can kind of tell some of the things they have, and kind of know, like in general, like the hockey ones. So as we kind of develop and we can kind of get some of these people to talk to, it'll be fun to kind of see, what things they have. And sometimes they'll have, they'll come up with little chats about that too. But as a fan, as someone who's watching it, sometimes they turn the game on earlier or turn it off after. So it'll be interesting to kind of see as we go into the holidays, like what superstitions and where we're sitting at right now.
And
we're still in a really good spot.
Sarah and Christine, you have kids, you have sons. Do they have superstitions for when they play sports? Was there anything like that you remember that they did?
Jax doesn't have anything. I think I don't think he's there yet, but I think Christine's probably got a couple.
Well, I mean, I think at one point Matt might not have showered until they won, or something gross.
Yeah.
But we can ask him next time he's on, like throughout like his, he's been playing hockey since he was 4, and all the way through high school. And now as, he kind of represents the fan base. He's a diehard Rebel, like UNLV Rebel fan, and he's at the games and supports them a lot. And as well as we all know, as a Kings fan. So, yeah. I don't think they wash their jerseys or anything. So guys are gross. So I don't know. I mean, at least I'll send my jersey to the cleaners at the end of the season, regardless, to make sure it's nice and clean. But I don't know if they do that so much.
I found when we go to the games, the more $22 drinks that I buy, the better they seem to do. So it's a direct correlation to how much money I have to drop at those games. To see some wins.
That's a lot.
Oh yeah. America.
You got a budget. For those.
Yeah.
things. So
wow.
You'll find out when you're down here next month. Don't worry.
I know. I was thinking about the beers we paid for at Madison Square Gardens. I was
similar. They're all the same.
Yeah.
That's why as we travel around, that'll be one of our the things that we rate is like the drink prices.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't want to tell it. We can't even get into the Greek theater over the summer in LA. That was a frightening bar bill.
Yeah.
We'll get into that another time. But yeah, there's a lot of exciting stuff happening. Just after the holidays, the Rangers do make their way west for their West Coast road trip, and that involves Vegas and LA and Anaheim, and I think they're going up to San Jose at the same time, or maybe that's slightly a couple of days before or after. But you will see double D-Fense at some or all of those games. So give us a shout if you are planning on coming out west. We are super excited about that. And hopefully we get some good wins. So I plan to not shower until January.
until then.
Yeah.
I plan to not get lost, and I think I might have an air tag now. So
we should totally. We are absolutely air tagging Christine. We
absolutely.
have to.
Yep. I love it.
Maybe there's an episode where it can follow wherever I'm at. So that'll be a nice new adventure.
Yeah.
We're getting excited. It's coming up fast, and again, it'll be a pivotal point in the season too. We'll be like almost halfway through games. It's going to be right before the All-Star break, and and again, we want to see kind of these teams level out. My child's texting. So we're gonna, and that's where I kind of start watching things from like a numbers standpoint. And so right now, again, even though we're in second place, we do still have the most wins. We're 3 games behind Vegas. I'm waiting for everybody else to have that week break that we had, so I don't know what these schedules are. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you realize, but coming up on Christmas, there are not just one day, there are 3 days with no hockey. So it's the 24th, 25th, and 26th. No hockey for 3 days. So I don't recall that.
Well, the World Juniors start though on the 26th, though, right? I think.
I don't know why.
Maybe they're trying to. Yeah, maybe they're just trying to give the players some time with their fans.
The other thing is like we have the winter, the outdoor game, like for the Rangers in February. And you were talking about Jersey. I'm going to kind of go back a little bit, but 47, the clothing company just released a cream colored jersey for all the teams, and I like it. I'll put that up as a
Seems
story.
Seems like Stain's waiting to happen.
Oh, the ones
probably.
The ones they had for Edmonton and Calgary, I thought they were hideous, but hopefully there's some nice ones.
So yeah, so we're waiting to see if they come out with a separate jersey for that event. So we haven't seen anything yet.
I'm looking forward to the All-Star jerseys this year. I'm looking forward to the whole All-Star weekend experience.
Anything's better than last year.
It cannot be worse than last year.
Oh my God.
Not possible.
They still have one of those All-Star jerseys from last year in the Flame store at the Scotiabank Saddledome. Like it is so just, I don't even know what to call that.
And do we know where the All-Star game is happening this year? What city they're at?
I don't know.
I feel like I knew this.
Is it here? I don't know. I'm not there yet. It's too far away. There's so many other things between now and then.
No, sorry. It's Toronto.
Oh,
interesting.
We might be able to make a trip up there. I know, we were looking for somewhere to go.
Yeah. We should do it. We should descend on Toronto and go talk to our Maple Leafs fan friends directly.
Yeah, and see, like they love Reeves, so they want to keep him as long as they can. And I'm like, enjoy him while you have him. It won't be long. He'll go somewhere.
Yeah, I think he's probably coming up at the very, very end.
He's like a nice rogue team supporter. Let him keep traveling around the world. In the NHL.
And you know what I've always wanted to do is the NHL Hall of Fame.
It's amazing. You have to go. I've been many times.
I have not.
I licked the Stanley Cup when I was there.
Yep.
Licked it. It was clean. So
did the Rangers win that year? Because maybe that needs to happen.
Was it
94?
I actually licked where the Rangers were on it from 94.
Keep that in mind, everyone.
Yes, keep that in mind.
Next time you see the Stanley Cup, know that Christine licked it.
Yeah, there's evidence on it too, somewhere on my Instagram. So.
We might have to find that picture and repost it.
So there, like when you're there, that you can sit and be an announcer, so you can play. And then there's also like a thing where you put the pads on and you're a goalie. And I sucked at it.
And you can get in and do shots on the net. And there's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of interactive exhibits. I love that place. I've been a million times.
It's in a mall too, so it's weird.
Underground. Yeah,
it's on the path in a mall, and then goes up into an old bank. So but it's also. This is where you'll see all the trophies are there. It's amazing. Again, one of the things I always tell people that aren't knowledgeable about hockey and all they see are the fights is they don't see the beauty and the history of where hockey started from and what's come out of that with the trophies that people get. I mean, they are the most beautiful trophies in any sport. And they're traditional because it's the only sport where they don't really, they don't get their own trophy. They just get the privilege of having their name on it, So I think hockey, they play a little harder for that, in my opinion. So
I love that. Well, maybe that will be in the next year or the year after for Double D-Fense. A little Toronto trip could be fun.
It'd be fun. I love Toronto.
Yeah. Exactly. So we're up to traveling around again and seeing what other arenas we need to explore while we can this season.
Definitely.
One thing at a time as we get through the holidays.
Absolutely. And I think we are going to be following through the holiday season. So please keep listening. And I think Christine had a poem that she wanted to share that I think is going to be this is a surprise to me and Sarah. So we really don't know what this is about. But I think we're all
So Double D-Fense was represented at LA Comic-Con this last weekend. It was fantastic. You saw the picture. So it was fun because between panels and walking around, I was able to sit and watch the game. We had some downtime before we did some panels. And it was fun. So I was able to watch the game and enjoy that. And Baby Yoda came with me. So Baby got famous and had a good time. So that's the post that people see on our site was that we're there. And we, and the fact that we can incorporate hockey wherever we are. So, and by the way, and it's all thanks to Liz and my birthday gift, which was ESPN Plus. So I was able to sit and watch it in the room at the convention.
From Sarah too. So this is,
that was
your Double
D-Fense gift. Of my co-hosts. Best gift ever.
ESPN Plus becomes a lifesaver. ESPN, if you're listening and want to sponsor us, we are happy to share it, but we are ESPN Plus subscribers and can take our hockey wherever we go, which we really appreciate. So thank you.
That's a great endorsement.
Not only that, but I have Center Ice, which is 8,000 minutes behind, so when it is on ESPN Plus, I can keep up with everybody, and we're at the same time frame so that everyone's not blowing it for me. I can't keep up with anybody, so, but I was there was a vendor who is, we have a mutual friend in common, and basically they do a 10-minute poem. So I gave them our names, I gave them our podcast, I gave them a few player names, and came back 30 minutes later to this poem. So I will go ahead and read it, and then I will be posting it later over the weekend, and with his card, because he can be commissioned to do poems. He also does them on an old typewriter, so it makes it that much more fancy, when you have it in your hand. So, I'm showing everybody here on our site. So the poem is called Cold Hard Facts. The media day was a circus. The Rangers let all of them in. The podcasters followed in swiftly before the puck drop would begin. And last was a trio of experts, but double D-Fense had a plan. They passed by the press box quite quickly and blended with all of the fans. Come on, said Christine, let's go rinkside. And Liz and then Sarah complied. They walked down the steps for their practice and got there without having tried. The penalty box was now empty. The podcasters opened its door, and Igor, while practicing, noticed, but gave them the eye, nothing more. These seats are so great, then said Sarah, and double D-Fense got to work. They called the whole game in the wrong box. For Panarin, did they all lurk? And that's our poem.
That is so cute. And I just want to say, we have played around with, and I think we've shared it on this podcast, some like AI poems, but I have to say a human touch is so nice. So yay. Please thank him for us.
This is so fantastic. Yeah. So I'll be posting their card. It's the type in pint. And so it's Brian Mahoney who did the poem and the work. So I'll be posting his contact info and our poem that he wrote for us, for anyone who may be interested in getting one from him. So
that is so cute. I want to know what happens next. I think there's definitely.
So we didn't even know what to give, and he'll continue it.
I think there were a couple of things that were set up in that poem where all of this could go. So please stay tuned. Yeah, I would like to hear more.
Yeah, I know. I think he found it hard to have something to rhyme with Crygenabad at the time, but this is good. This is also someone who doesn't know as much as we do. It was great. So that is was my one purchase from LA Comic-Con. So again,
I
between
love
all
that.
the amazing cosplayers and all the crazy things going on, found this guy, and again we have a mutual friend who helped me find them, and it was amazing. So yes, so thank you for letting me share, and again I'll share it with everybody else, so that we can get more poems like this.
Amazing. Well, I will consider that a nice little Hanukkah present to kick off the holiday season. So
and the next time I think we'll get Liz to up her year-ending poem streak from last year, which she had done too, and I think she's fine-tuning her own poem too, to kind of end our calendar year with.
See, yeah, my poems take 1 year to write. I can't do it in 10 minutes, but one year I can. Once a year I can pump one out.
Yeah,
stay tuned for that. Yeah, exactly. Also,
Perfect.
What I will say, a lot harder to write when they're winning, because when they're losing, it's super easy to go down a number of different paths. But now that the season is where we were last year, and I think we can start, maybe we'll keep track of the poems year after year, because I think we can tell, based on the tone of them, how well we're doing in the standings. But it is harder to write when you're playing so well, because I want
so if we keep it at the same time.
Really hard to give Miller shit when when they're doing well. So just bear that in mind.
And he's scoring.
And he's scoring.
Yeah,
and
when he gets points, they're like, dang it. You're messing up my poem. I can see the scratch outs and everything.
Exactly. And also La Violette is really hard to rhyme. Well, on that note, ladies. Yeah.
So
we
can crave more.
Just wait. Well, on that note, ladies, thank you so much for a lovely hockey holiday chat. We have a lot more to come before the year is over. And please stay tuned. And Christine, you'll be asking people about their superstitions. So if you have one,
I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. See what kind of feedback we can get from people to kind of add content next time, which would be great. I love to hear from people doing that. I might put it out on different forums so I can get some good answers. I want to see what really like some good deep superstitions people have and whether it's worked for them or not. So I'm curious to see where people are outside of the normal, like wearing the same shirt or so I want to see kind of really where people go.
I bet there's some good ones.
Yeah. Well, as long as it doesn't involve stinky, which was every 14-year-old hockey kid ever. And that's why they all smell so bad. So,
well, on that note, happy holidays, everybody. We will see you again soon. Thank you for listening.
Have a great day, guys.